If you have pain, just know this. There's an exact opposite, which means there's an exact medicine to it, which means there's an exact purpose to the pain. You're here to turn your struggle into art. You're here to turn your challenges into art. That's the journey. People just feel the call. It's not so logical. I feel it's more emotional. People just feel the call to work on their purpose, to work on alignment. The origin of the problem is consciousness. The solution is consciousness. You're something greater. Because you can observe thoughts, who is the one that tells the story? Who's that? Who is the one that creates the story? Recognize that. And if you're the one that creates the story, who is the one that can let it go? I love who I am. Not what I do or what I say. I love who I am. My nervous system embodies this. I imagine so much the world wants to experience this, and I pray that each person experiences what it feels like to be grateful, what it feels like to be peaceful, content, happy, accepted. Experiencing who you are ultimately is the greatest experience you'll ever have in this human incarnation.
Myles Treanor is back on the Human Kinder podcast, and this time we're going really big. This is a conversation about killing the old world and dreaming in a new one, and not in a destructive way, but in a sense of letting go of old beliefs, old systems, old identities, ways of keeping us small, separate and disconnected. Myles is the founder of the Soul Alignment Method, and he shares his story in a previous episode, and if you haven't heard that, I would recommend going back and checking it out. But in this episode, he shares what a truly soul-aligned world would feel like. How would we show up? How would we treat each other? What would we do? And most importantly, who do we need to become now in order to bring this reality in? This conversation is about waking up to our true power as spiritual beings who are having a human experience and who have immense agency in what we can create here on earth. I left this conversation absolutely on fire and just ready to charge to brick walls, and it has been a catalyst for me to let go of so many things that had been holding me back in my own personal journey, and I sincerely hope that it is the same fuel for you.
It might be nice to start by sharing with people, how do you describe the work that you do?
I align people with their soul, and I give people an experience of who they are. So the first aspect of what I do is I align people with who they are. I bring them to that space of their true self. And for people who are ready, they'll just go there with me. For people that are not ready, they'll get a glimpse of it, might they come out again. But people are ready at different levels. And then when you're in the space of who you are, it's like all the beliefs of what you thought you were and all the ideas of who you think you are, they kind of just fall away. And you return back to zero. And once that happens, it's quite the awakening moment. And then the moment you're there, it's like you start to sense this thing of oh, yeah, I want to stay here. I want to stay here. I really want to stay here. And that begins that motivation of I want to stay. I want to stay centered. I want to stay aligned. And then begins the journey of how do we stay here? Because you might notice things might pull you out now. And so the rest of my work is about clearing the things that pull you out of your true self, that pull you out of your true space. And when you can stay in this space longer, you'll start to recognize what you love to do, what lights you up. You'll start to realize why you're here. You'll start to realize your purpose. And so that's the second aspect of my work. It's like why you're here, like your soul purpose will become clear. And then when you get your soul purpose, you're like, oh yeah, I can see it. I can visualize it. I can articulate it. It's broken down. I break it down in detail. I help people break it down into categories, detail it down with visuals. Like it's all broken down. And then it's like people are clear on their purpose and why they're here. But then the next thing is like, I'm intellectually clear, but how do I physicalize it? How do I embody it? Is the next thing. So that's the third step. It's like how to live your purpose is the third aspect of the work. So in summary, it's like who you are. I bring people there. Then I bring people to why you're here. And then I bring people to the process of actually embodying their soul in the human form. So there's the three main aspects of the work I do. So in simplicity, I would say that I align people with their soul purpose and show them how to live it.
Yeah, nicely articulated. And we did an entire episode that really dove into all of those different elements and broke it down. And so if you haven't seen that already, I would reckon just pause this, go back and check that one out, or continue to listen and then go back and check that one out, because this is something that I think is revolutionary to the world that we're in right now. And for a lot of the conversations that I have with people, and even having my own experience, I wasn't aware that there was such a thing as a true self. I wasn't aware that there was such a thing as a soul's purpose. And so I don't know if you could speak to what you see in people who you meet, who, when you say these things to them, they look at you and they say, Myles, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I usually don't speak to people like that. The worst thing. I actually highly value what I call relational efficiency. So I'm very big on efficiency. So I like to efficiently operate in this world. So I like to efficiently put my attention on what matters, and like focus on what matters, and speak to what matters, and relate with what matters. I don't like to waste my time speaking to people that I feel like there's no purpose with. Meaning, like, unless I'm called to speak to them, I will, or they'll ask me a question. It's different, but I'm not going to go over and start sharing these things unless I feel the call. So it's like I could be walking anywhere and people might never know what I'm doing, but I'm being it. So it's for those that want to see. So it's like, how to describe it? If someone doesn't understand, well, first of all, people, when they do hear what I do, some will just be like, yeah, I really want to know more. I want to live my purpose. I want to actually live my dream. I actually want to align. That's the thing I want to do. Oh, it just clicks in me. I forgot what you said, but I'm curious to know more. There's something in them that just feel the pull. And then there's some people who are like, I don't feel the pull at all. I'm like, that's good. It's nice. It's like, it's more like people just feel the call. It's not so logical. I feel it's more emotional. People just feel the call to work on their purpose, to work on alignment. I think that logically, like, everyone's like, yeah, I want to live my purpose, of course. But not everyone in their heart wants to live their purpose. They're just saying it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a complete radical transformation of the world that we're actually living in to, first of all, believe and feel that you actually are here to live your purpose rather than any of the other things that our society has told you is important in life. And to prioritize that over all else is a radical act. And before we came on air, we were talking about this transition between the old world and the new world. And I've heard you talk about the vision of a soul-aligned world where the majority of people understand their soul purpose clearly and have it broken down and are pursuing that in relationship with other people. They're pursuing it in their location where they live, their physical health, their emotional health. They're pursuing it in their career and whatever sort of offering they have. And I contrast that, and I think about the world that we're in now, where we're taught not to listen to ourselves, we're taught not to listen to our intuition, we're taught to do the things that will enable financial security, and we buy houses, we have mortgages. And for the vast majority of people who I meet to and talk to, and I count myself as one of those people, all of those influences are really strong and heavy, and they dictate the decisions that we make in our life, and it's all very mind based. And all of this stuff around intuition and following what really lights you up seems to be like either a hobby of people who are rich or people who are retired, or something that's a fantasy that could never actually work in reality because you simply wouldn't be able to feed yourself. And there's a lot of fear involved. So I'd love to hear you speak a bit about this old world, new world transition that you're working on. Essentially, you're working in to help people move.
Yeah, painting the picture of what does a soul aligned world look like? What does a world that's much lighter look like? And imagining that we're at a certain level of consciousness right now as a collective, and imagine that your level of the light that's coming through you, the level of light that is allowed to come through you, is your level of frequency or your level of consciousness. So the more light that comes through you, the higher your frequency is going to be. Just imagine that's a simple way to articulate it. So imagine that the collective's like this, so that the collective is at a certain level of frequency. And the level of frequency that you're on will determine what you create in the world. So if you're on a higher frequency than where the collective's at, you're creating something a little bit beyond what the collective's currently focusing on. If your frequency is below where the collective's at, you're creating something that's kind of behind what the collective's creating. So it's all relative. And why I'm saying this, if you want to create a more beautiful world, if you want to create more beautiful forms with regards like government, you want to create a better education system, you want to create a better health system, you want to create a better economic system, then we have to raise our level of frequency. Why? Because when we become lighter, we create a more lighter methods, we create lighter actions, we create a lighter world. And it sounds so simple, but it's kind of that simple, actually. So form reflects consciousness. Form is the external of what consciousness is. So our world right now is a reflection, is a direct mirror of what we're focusing on. So on social media, what's being created on social media and what's been mostly put attention on, that's a reflection of our consciousness. If you were like in a world that was highly evolved, the social media would look completely different. The type of content would be different. The way it's set up would be completely different. For example, our economic system, our value exchange system, it's reflecting the level of consciousness we're currently at. If we were much lighter, all of a sudden the way we exchange value would be very diverse. We'd be aware that I'm exchanging time, energy, I'm exchanging resources, I'm exchanging money, I'm exchanging skills, I'm exchanging knowledge. I'd have a wide awareness of all the different forms of value if I was conscious. But if I'm less conscious, then I'm just like, money, that's the only form of value. Because I'm so narrow in my focus, I can't see anymore. That's a sign of kind of rigidity and small-mindedness, and it's a lack of consciousness. That's kind of wired. Just imagine that's why we're so rigid with value exchange, because there's a lack of consciousness to know more. Example, another one is like education system. Our education system is like, hey, I want you to work hard and earn money. We're going to train you to work hard and earn money. And we're going to emphasize those two things throughout the whole education system. And you're like, so basically, this is kind of the context of what you're teaching us, is to work hard and earn money. So in a way, all the education system is built to make you a good, productive member of the factory system or the economic system. It's not training you to know who you are, to be healthy, to be at peace, to be in love, to be a good relator, to be a good communicator, to be emotionally healthy, to be on purpose. None of those things are emphasized because they're not priority. They're not They're not what purpose is according to the education system. Purpose according to the education system is work hard and earn money. So in a way, purpose of life, God, is if you're a hard worker and you create money, you're a good boy and good girl for God. God, you're good. And if you're not productive for this system, you're a bad boy and a bad girl. So right and wrong is based on that metric. It's based on the North Star. It's based on the highest value, what you determine as purpose. So the education determines purpose as work hard and earn money. You're a utility. You're a machine. You're going to produce things. That's your value in this world. That's what our education currently reflects. It reflects our consciousness of what we think our value is. So, to change the education system, we have to change our consciousness. To change our economic system, we have to change our consciousness. The origin of the problem is consciousness. The solution is consciousness. We can't solve the problem from the same level it was created. That's like a famous quote. I don't know who said that, but somebody said it. But it's like, imagine all forms of the society is reflecting the society's consciousness. So then what's the most important, what's the most efficient and effective way to change the world? It's to change your own frequency. As you change, if you upgrade your own frequency, you upgrade the energetic field, which then has an effect on what form it's creating. So I'm being very mathematical. I'm trying to be very precise here. I'm not trying to create any illusions or any generic things. I'm trying to get absolute precise on like how 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 works. It's like it starts off with we are the awareness of all things. We're everything. And then we focus our attention on something. And then we start to create from there. It's like I focus my attention on I'm not lower frequency, and I start to think from there. I start to feel from there. I start to act from there. So my external starts to reflect what I'm focusing on. If I direct my attention up to what's expansive, to what lights me up, to what makes me feel alive as an individual, and then I start to think from there, I start to feel from there, and I start to then act from there, and then I start to create from there. That's how it works on an individual level, and it's also how it works on the collective level. So it's really simple. The individual journey of aligning is the same as the collective journey of aligning. Like a soul alignment process for an individual is the same as for the collective. So for me, to make a world more aligned, to have this human world more aligned with light, to make it a lighter world, to make it a more soul aligned world, then there's a certain framework I see us having to go under to do that. And it's all very simple. It's not that complicated, actually. It's not easy, but it's just simple. So it's actually the same as what an individual needs to do. It's like the more people that can realize just who they really are at the basic level, like there's these thoughts here and there's these feelings here and you're something more. The more people can realize that, it's going to help a lot. Because we'll stop identifying with small things. We start to become bigger. We start to become a bit more expansive, a little more limitless. We start identifying with like, I'm this thought. And it's all day long. It's like boring. It's like, come on, wake up. It's like, remember, like start step 1. Come on, let's get to step 1 because you came here and you said you're going to get here. So come on, let's go. And then it's like when we get here, now it's like, oh, everything changes, like the world changes just in that moment. And I could go on all the steps of it, but it's like, I just want to share that a soul aligned world is a world in which, in a simple way, it's a world in which we know who we are. We know who we are. We know who we really are. We know why we are here. And we know what we're here to do. And we are doing it. We are living it. And so the majority of people know how to directly connect to the light. They know how to tune into that. They know how to align. They know how to recharge. They know how to access what lights them up. They know how to do that. And they know how to find why they're here. They know why they're here. They can start to articulate it and bring it down into detail. Their blueprint. They can understand exactly what lights them up the most, and they can also understand what hurts them the most and what has challenged them the most. They're able to understand their blueprint. They've got access to that. They've got a technology, a method to do this. This is for me, it's a right to all humans in this existence to be able to do that. And then once they can do that, now they can start putting their time and energy into what lights them up, into what really matters, into their purpose. And now they start to their career, their relationships, their lifestyle, their location starts to reflect what their soul really wants to experience. And now they start actually physicalizing more of what their soul's dream is. And for me, then people can embody it at different levels, and all of a sudden people are embodying their purpose at high levels. And all of a sudden it looks like a world that's aligned. It's a world in which people are highly aligned with what they're here to do. And so everyone's playing their roles very beautifully and lightly. Versus what you have now is that a lot of people don't know who they are. And there's even less people who know why they're here. What lights them up. They don't even know that. And then what the problem is, then very few are actually doing it and living it. So people are actually struggling with that aspect. And so I just want to really clarify that this is actually mathematical. It's simple. It's methodical. It's like this method breaks it down. But also there's other methods, there's other beings in this earth that have something similar to this clarity. And there is this information that's here now. And I just want to share that. And so if someone's hearing this for the first time, it's like, wow, beautiful. Now let's begin. Let's start. Let's go. It's not just information here. Let's just go. Let's go forward. Let's create it.
That's nice and clear. And to even make it more concrete, because it's an experiential thing, and with things that are experiential, it can be difficult to articulate them in words, right? I think you've done a beautiful job to talk from my experience as someone who has gone on some of this journey so far. The experience of knowing who you are is articulated in many different spiritual texts, but it's essentially recognizing that your thoughts, your feelings, when you sit in meditation and you observe them, that you actually are the observer of those thoughts and the feelings. You are the awareness in which that is happening. And we're calling that awareness now the soul, because it's this unique awareness that is you, that's observing these different experiences. And then ultimately, when you go a little bit higher than that, there's this experience of that sense of separateness as a separate soul, even dissolving and becoming one awareness at the highest level. But this soul piece that you're talking about, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is this connection between spirit on the highest level, between God, and between the human on this level. And if you go back to the previous episode that we did, in meditation, you can be guided to sit in that spaciousness of observing your thoughts and your feelings, and then recognize that in that space, there actually is a light. There's a light above your head, coming down into your head, that's guiding you on this experience. And so is that actually what you're talking, when you talk about soul and experiencing soul, it's that experience that you help people to do at the very start of your working with them, that shows them that they're bigger than just the body mind that they were identified with for the rest of their life?
Yeah, maybe I could do that for say 3 minutes, and then I will talk more about it. Maybe that's the most efficient way to communicate this, or effective way. So, okay, I'm just going to put the timer on. Okay, so we begin. Okay, so just get in a comfortable position, closing the eyes, and begin by focusing on the breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale from the lower abdominals up to the chest and back down. And just focusing on sound of the breath. This time, bring awareness to the sensations in the body. Just observing the sensations. Notice the different sensations. And notice you are the awareness that's watching this. This time, notice any thoughts you have. Notice any ideas. Observe them. Notice. You can go from one thought to another. You can switch awareness from one idea to another. You're something greater. Because you can observe thoughts, you're something more. Thoughts can come and go. And yet this awareness remains. So become aware of who you are now. The space. Notice that thoughts come and go. Sensations come and go. The breath comes and goes. And yet you, the real you, is always here. There's a greater space. So bring awareness to the bottom of your spine. Focus here. Slowly bring awareness up to the top of the spine, through the head. Just notice the space above your head. Just imagine 1 meter, 2 meters above your head, and go further and further up into that space. And imagine up above you there's a bright light. Focus up into that light. Focus, focus. Let's go higher and higher up into that light. And as you focus on the light, you're starting to go beyond sensation, beyond thought. Go up higher, go into the light. Focus on the light. And notice how it's different to thoughts. Notice how it's different to sensation. Go higher and higher up into this light. Focus up more. Go higher and higher. As you focus on the light, the mind and body start to align. You are now home in the light. This is the soul light. This is the light of who you are. Notice how light it feels. Notice how relieving it feels. To get a glimpse of who you are. And so as you go higher and higher into this light, you're starting to return to the source. The source, which is light itself. Experience. Experience that I am. I am the light. And so this light is what creates all things. This light creates space, it creates thought, it creates sensation. This is the light that gives life to the world. And so this is a little 5 minutes experience of this space. And from here it begins. From this little experience, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into the space of who you are. And so as you bring this light down into the human body now, as you bring the light down like a straight line down into the body, you're starting to align your human self with the light. You're starting to align this physical vessel with the light. You're starting to align in the human experience. So in this moment, you're starting to remember who you really are. And you're starting to remember who you really are and the context, which is that you're in the human body. So in every moment you can align. In every moment you can return home. And as you align, all aligns. Thoughts align. The body aligns. Now you're starting to experience an aligned world. And so as you enter this more and more often, you'll start to think more aligned. You'll start to feel more aligned. You'll start to act from alignment. And then you'll start to create from alignment. So imagine if all humans could experience this. This is the starting point of a soul-aligned world. And so this is a prayer. This is a wish, a declaration, an intention. So that's basically the first experience, Kim.
Thank you. It's beautiful, and there's many directions we could go here. One little piece to clarify for people. When you're having that experience, what do people report to you, Myles, when you guide them through that experience, first of all, of what that experience is like?
What people often say back to me is like, oh, I feel very relaxed, feel very calm, I feel very centered, I feel like everything's so clear. It's like the most common things. There's a certain percentage of people who just like totally experience a completely different reality. It's like, wow, I didn't realize that I was something more. I would say like quite a few people experience their true selves. They awaken to that experience. They awaken to their true self. The thing that stands out is that after they experience their true self, I often share to them, yeah, it's quite simple now. It's profound, but it's simple. It's like when you've realized you've got a glimpse of your true nature. It's not like, oh, now I'm going to go teach the whole world this. It's like, it's not like what you expect. It's like, oh, it's actually the opposite. It's really simple. It's like, oh, okay. Well, you can share your experience, what you experienced.
Yeah, no, it's just curious because as soon as you go into that experience and people will come out of it and they'll go, did I do it right? What was I supposed to feel? What was I supposed to sense? And so I'm just answering that question preemptively for people. And for me, what it is a sense of the expansion that I feel, like a sense of just being bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of the things that would really bother me, like, oh no, am I doing this right? Am I saying this right? What does these people think of me? How do I look? What do I need to do tomorrow? All of these things, they start to fade away, and there comes in just a sense of rightness, a sense of just beingness, that everything is absolutely okay the way it is. And there's a sense of spaciousness. And I also feel like an energy in my neck and shoulders, like it's almost like you've done something good. You know, the feeling of when we both played a lot of sport growing up, you've just scored a goal, right? You feel like that, or you've just won something. It's like there's a sense of elation that comes for me. And there's that distance between the thoughts, and it actually then starts to change the thoughts and the sensations that I'm experiencing. So I start to notice that sensations are different. I feel lighter in the body. Emotions are different. I feel more joy, more peace, and thoughts are different. They're more centered around the appreciation of that rightness, or if it's about what am I going to do, it's about what am I doing that's in my highest. Right. And so there's this, it just changes my consciousness. And I would love to hear you speak about, before I said that, the biggest thing that it has done for me is that it gives me an experience of being something that's bigger than just my limited sense of myself as Cian McEnroe, which is a profound freedom, which is like, wow, it actually doesn't matter so much if someone says something, or all the conditioning that I've had where people have told me that I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy, or if I go into work tomorrow and that person is angry again and they're blaming me. That actually doesn't matter, because what actually happens to Cian McEnroe in that limited sense doesn't implicate me. I am bigger than that. There's just such an unbelievable freedom of taking off that identity and seeing it for what it is, and saying, well, now knowing that I am much larger, I'm this eternal awareness, this soul, I can play as Cian McEnroe, and I can get, and actually I'm a much better Cian McEnroe, much more involved, I'm much more freer, I'm less defensive. I start to align my life to what I actually really would like to do, and I start to speak what's really true for me without fear of repercussions, because I know that I'm much bigger than this. So from a psychological perspective, it transforms me completely, because before I was just acting on behalf of this small sense of, oh, if someone says this, then that's good. If someone says this other thing, that's bad. If this event goes this way, then I'll be happy. If this event goes that way, I'll be sad. It gives you a space to inhabit in which all of those things play out, and you're participating in them fully, but with a level of distance and a lack of seriousness, which makes you actually a better partner, a better friend, a better colleague, a better everything. And it gives you access to more of your intelligence, because you're not so caught up in the drama of it all. I think that for me has been the biggest part of the biggest shift, how I've noticed how it's changed my psychology as a human being.
Beautiful. It's like, there it is. It's like, if you feel so much more at peace, like metrics, like, oh, if you feel more at peace, if you feel happier, you feel more light, if you feel more clear, feel more fulfilled, I feel more satisfied, those are worthy metrics of measuring progress. They're worthy measurements of, that's, if this process has given me more of that, then it's beautiful. Wow, I want more. It's like, for me, I see this as the most direct way to increase those metrics.
Yeah.
So, like, one thing that people might notice is that I don't like, it's nice to have generic statements. It's nice to repeat the phrases of the thousands of years of spiritual texts. But for me, it's like, I didn't really bother coming to this incarnation to do that. I actually, like, not that it's just me, but it's like, I actually rather give someone an understanding that this is not just generic. This can be measured. This can be like, you can actually methodically increase these things. Like, first of all, you have to be bold enough to believe, oh, I can actually increase the times I spend in peace. I can increase the times I spend in states of lightness. I can increase the times I spend in, like, just observing. I can do that. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, it's possible. It's not just some fairy moment that you get once in your life. It's like, that's the thing that I feel it's not so clear in a lot of traditional spiritual methods, is that people often talk about enlightenment, full stop. But it's like, you become lighter, it's enlightening. You're further increasing your light. It's not like a moment. It's not like it's like you keep getting deeper in it, and it keeps going in deeper levels. You may have a big moment, but then it comes back again to your actual level of embodiment. But it's like, you're just increasing it all the time. And so you're on a journey of expanding, you're on a journey of further enlightening. And it's like, you have an athlete. I like to think of it like soul alignment students are kind of like athletes. We're just athletes of, like, loving the process, doing the method, continually increasing our sense of alignment, and further physicalizing our purpose, further physicalizing our dream. It's a process. If you fall in love with the process, it's a very different reality versus, like, oh, I live my dream now. It's like, it's not this black and white yes or no thing. It's very different to how it's narrated in other disciplines. It's not like it's not this moment. It's kind of like it's continuously happening. And that's the beauty of it, I feel. It's that these things we're talking about are not just like one moment. You can experience bliss, but you can have quantum levels of higher versions of that. Actually, you can actually experience peace. And the first time you may think, oh, it's the greatest peace I ever felt. But then all of a sudden, 3 years later, you're embodying it. You're in it regularly. And it's become normal. So it's like, just the beauty of this. It's like, this is not just one off. This is like, you can live in these states. You can live in it. And it just requires a certain amount of, like, you have to first, like, want it. You have to want to live in these things, to live in these states. And I consider, like, light states of consciousness, like high states of consciousness, let's say, or like the state of alignment, obviously, the very top. But when you have, some people call that enlightenment, but I call it alignment. It's light. It's like when you're in alignment. And then from there, you have states that are close to that, which is like love and peace, love, bliss, acceptance. These are very, very high states of consciousness. I accept all things as they are. I'm at peace with all things. I'm on the frequency of peace. I'm in love. Beyond conditions, I'm in love. I'm love itself. These are like fundamental states of consciousness. These are like very light states of consciousness. And these are all trainable. These are all accessible first. Once you can access them, you can start to access them more often, where your nervous system can eventually start to embody them. Once your nervous system embodies them, it's a different level now. It's like what your nervous system embodies, your external world starts to reflect. So you can, like the mind thinks and the body believes. So you can think something, but when you embody peace, now the external starts to like all of a sudden just mirror that. Because I often ask the question, like, what's the purpose of the external? Like, what's the function of it? I often ask, like, what's the point of it? People are like, why would you ask the question? I'm like, why would you not ask the question? What's the function of it? Like, what's the point? Like, well, my nervous system what I embody seems to reflect. And so the external is kind of like a mirror back to like, oh, that's where I am in my consciousness. That's where I'm operating from. And so I tend to find the external as a good way to measure where I am in consciousness. So I would say that, yeah, that maybe that's some useful information for people to understand, like the context of states of consciousness and how it's related to purpose. Oh, and the last thing I'll say is like the light states of consciousness, higher states of consciousness, I consider them more purposeful states of consciousness. And lower states of consciousness, such as the bottom, which is apathy, and then you obviously have anger and hatred and all these things, sadness. These are like lower states of consciousness, and they're lower frequency. They're further away from the source of light. They're more in the darkness. They're lower frequency and they're less purposeful, you could say. They're less light. They're less purposeful. They're heavier. They're denser. So you can bring your awareness to any state, but if you keep your awareness into lighter states, then you're keeping your awareness on purposeful states of consciousness. So in a way, to continually orient yourself to the light, you'll continually orient yourself to more purposeful experiences in every moment. And so the idea, the technical, maybe say, breakdown of what it means to live in purpose is to continually focus on light and to live in attention with it. Live your attention on light states of consciousness. I want to continually experience expansive states. I want to continually experience purposeful states of consciousness, moment to moment, moment to moment. This is what it looks like to live in purpose, from purpose.
Yeah, and for anyone who is hearing that and saying that sounds like spiritual bypassing or just ignoring everything else and just, being in this space, and someone comes to you and they're upset, just being like, well, no, I'm just in this space and I'm not out of time for your lower states. It's actually not that. It's actually completely the opposite. It's that you're embodying these states. So when someone does come to you, or even if a sadness comes up inside yourself, you're there to be with it fully as a loving presence, rather than to either get in with it and get enmeshed with it and get entangled and start perpetuating with it, or to start fighting with that other person who comes. This practice actually allows you to connect to and hold that state of anger that might be coming up from in yourself or from ancestors in a really beautiful open space, and be with it fully and experience it fully without diving into it and having it consume you and continue to perpetuate. So it's not a spiritual bypass at all. It's actually being really, really present with what is here now. Would you have anything to say on that, Myles? If there's anyone who's had experiences with people who have sort of checked out of life in a way and said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to feel this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stay here in the light.
Well, so obviously when you go into the space of who you are and you start to then focus on lighter states of consciousness, that's kind of like a second layer. But when you're in that layer, it's not easy. You'll realize that when I focus up into alignment, things pull me down. Things keep pulling me down. The more I try to go up, the more things seem to pull me down. If you can stay there for long periods of time, brilliant. But things will pull you down. And if you keep trying to reorient and it keeps pulling you down, then that's a sign that this needs to be looked at. This is a lesson that wants to be learned. This is a sensation that wants to be felt. There's something to process. There's something to learn. Welcome the struggle. Welcome the karma. Welcome the lessons. This is kind of the context where we're humans. We're not just going to get a free pass to be in the light all day long. It's like, once you realize you're at the light, it's brilliant, but the thing's going to pull you down. Now you have the context of what the point of struggle is. You realize that, struggle is there because they're my lessons. If I learn these lessons, I get to stay in the light longer. That's the reward. I get to stay in purpose longer. Now I know the context, the point, the purpose of learning lessons. Now I know the purpose of feeling my emotions. So often, there's nuance to all of this, and it can't all be explained on a podcast, but it's like, if something keeps pulling at you, it means there's something to look at. Because small emotions or things that are not that important, you can move them out of the way and reorient to the light. That's like what you call the masculine way of it. Boom, straight to the light. And that's a very important part of the journey. But if you do this and it doesn't work, it's not going away. It means that the feminine aspect is like, come look at me. You can't just bypass me. I'm calling you to say, you're something to learn here. And so this is both equally masculine and feminine process are just two sides of the same coin. Like, alignment isn't masculine or feminine. Alignment is actually both. There isn't really emphasis on either side. This method is as much feminine as masculine. I really cannot say that it's either side more. It's actually perfectly intertwined in both. So it's like phase 2 of the method actually focuses on how do we process these things that are pulling us down? What is this trying to tell me? And so we go into these sensations that call us, these emotions, this pain. We start to go in and listen. Start to practice listening to the body now. We start practicing listening to this feedback, these messages. We start to drink the sensation. And the more that you start to learn how to drink the sensation and feel it, you start to see there's these lessons that come to you. These beautiful things happen to you. Meaningful lessons. It's not easy, but it's very valuable human lessons come to you. And that could be lessons around, and often this is the context, is that we're in an ancestral line where we chose parents. And there's certain traumas that they carry. There's things that they haven't expressed yet. There's things that your lineage has to learn here. And they're your traumas. And that's what they have not yet learned. And so your karma, what you need to learn, your lessons, you'll choose the ancestral line to mirror the lessons you need to learn. So your parents are not in the way. Your parents are the way. They're the solution, not the problem. They're the solution to what you're here to learn. So gratitude for mom and dad. Gratitude for this family incarnation, because they're showing me what I need to learn. And so the opposite of what hurts you the most, did you ever think of this? The opposite of what hurts you the most, maybe you're unconsciously your whole life want to experience the opposite of what hurts you the most. You unconsciously are driven to experience the opposite of what hurt you. You want to, that deepest pain, you want to experience the opposite side. You're driven. Oh, I wasn't valued for who I am, and I want to experience that. I want to experience being valued for who I am. I wasn't listened to. I want to experience being listened to. I wasn't hugged and caressed, and wasn't really physically caressed. I'm obsessed. I want to get that experience. I run the things to get that experience. And it unconsciously drives of some people use conscious means to get those needs. Some people use unconscious means. But we're driven to experience it. So if you can identify the core of what hurt you the most, you can paint the picture of the opposite. And so because you have core challenges, you have the core opposite. Because you can identify the core of what hurt you, you have the core opposite. And together, this creates the picture of your soul's journey. You're here to turn your struggle into art. You're here to turn your challenges into art. Can you turn your struggle into art? That's the journey. Turn it into art. There's purpose in your pain. There's medicine in the poison. There is no pain without purpose. There is no poison without medicine. There is no sense. There's no logic to it. It all is linked. If you have pain, just know this. There's an exact opposite, which means there's an exact medicine to it, which means there's an exact purpose to the pain. If you can realize the opposite side, you're like, oh my God, I love it. It's beautiful. I know the purpose in it. All of a sudden, you go beyond it. But when you don't know the purpose of it, you suffer. And so in a simple way, when a sensation does not move in you, when some struggle doesn't move in you, when it's not moving out of your body, it means you haven't learned a lesson yet. No matter how much you intellectually say you learned a lesson, there's a rule. If the sensation has not moved, it means you haven't learned the lesson. And that's a strong statement. It's a strong statement for a spiritual seeker to understand. It's like, boom. It's like, there's certain rules of this human experience. And it's like, it's very interesting. Like, this method started off actually as a very feminine method. It started off as a method that was based on the art of listening to the sensations in the body, the art of decoding the messages of the sensations, the art of processing sensation itself, the art of asking questions to the nervous system and to get its feedback, the art of processing emotions, trauma, pain. That's how it grew. It started from me having incurable health conditions, me being in the ground, me struggling to be in the human body, listening, asking questions. What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to communicate? Then I start to learn. The body starts to rewire itself. The nervous system starts to completely change. All of these health conditions, these incurable health conditions, start to change. All of a sudden, I heal them. I start to heal all these health structural problems in the body, and I start to experience the possibilities of healing, the possibilities of the nervous system. I start to experience how much this physical experience is simply a reflection of my consciousness. And so I start to experience the divinity in the pain. I start to experience the absolute beauty in my suffering. And so I'm not talking from some bypass energy. I'm literally start from the opposite. And I'm saying this not because it's about me, but I'm saying is that there's many people who resonate with this. Who are like, my spiritual journey started from suffering. My spiritual journey started from being in the ground, from pain. It's like, I always want to honor that the journey requires a lot of listening. There's a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion continually needed on your journey. It's like, no matter how high a state you enter, there'll be more things to come up, more things to learn. It's like, that's why it's a practice. It's an athlete. We're never finished. Like the idea of like, that teacher, that person, they're there now. I'm like, that's a problem. That's a serious problem. That's a misconception. That's an inaccurate perception of where you're at, because you're continually in the same process. For me, it's always the same method repeated again and again. It's like, no matter what level of consciousness you're on, it's just relative. The process is the same. So even if you're 100 times higher than someone else, you're still in the same rules, still in the same game. So even if you're on another planet, in another form, you're still in the same rules. Alignment, light, focus. It's like the same thing applies. So for me, it's like the alignment process is simple, and I consider it like to be the way that I think that you enjoy this experience the most is like to really just enjoy listening, enjoy the sensations, enjoy the game, enjoy the process, enjoy listening to the feelings. Because when you listen more to the pain, you get lots of time in higher states of consciousness. You feel bliss, you feel love, you feel peace. All of a sudden, I spend more and more time in these states because I'm willing to feel. I'm willing to leave this body now. I'm willing to leave this body now. Just so you know, it's like it is not so difficult for me. And I know that's not everyone's experience, but it's like, it's interesting. I notice a lot of people find it hard to deal with, but it's like, I don't find it hard to deal with. And it's like, because I know who I am. I know who I really am. And I'm just here as someone who is I'm living my dream. I'm relatively to other people. I'm aware of that. I'm not like saying that there's no such thing as better or worse. I'm just aware of relativity. And I'm very aware that I'm really concerned about the method and process of this way of living. I'm way more concerned about that than my personality. I'm actually, the reason why I'm so focused on methods is because I'm very wary of my of people looking at your personality a lot, because it tends to distract. I don't want to start looking at, like, don't get distracted by my personality, because it's not the point. It's not really matter to me too much. I just have this personality so that it can transmit the methods in the world. This body is kind of designed for my purpose. That's why it looks like this, and it kind of has this voice and everything. It's like, it's designed for my purpose. It's like, that's all it's for. Like, I don't really like go, oh my God, like, it doesn't matter to me. As long as the world starts to learn how to align and starts to learn how to get to its purpose and live it, that's what matters. That's my dream. I want to see that. I want to see that as much as possible in this world. That's my dream. It doesn't matter if my name is remembered by 5 people or 1 million. It's not my motivation at all. So it's relieving, because once you have a motivation bigger than that, it's so much more enjoyable life, when it's not really about you anymore. It's like, it's about just living I want to experience the soul line world. That's what I want to experience. I want to inspire it. I want to create it. I want to see people who else wants to create this? Who else wants to see this world? Come, let's do it. Like, let's create this world. Like, that's what matters to me. It's like, whoever does it, we're all doing it. It's like it's an old paradigm of like personality. For me, personality and recognition, all that stuff, that's an old consciousness, a lower consciousness. It's an old world. And I die to that world. For example, the Osho world of like, Osho, everything. Like, Osho could have put his teachings higher than his name, but he didn't. And that's a problem for me. It's like, your teachings could have went to the world instead of your personality. It's important to have a personality, of course. Like, you need to be able to transmit certain things, inspire people, but that's not the most effective way. It's more effective to get your teachings out so people can experience them. It's about them actually experiencing it. It's not about you. Okay, great, Osho, you learned all those things. Brilliant. But it's not about you. It's not for you. It's for them. You experience these states of consciousness because it's for them. It's not about you. Never was. Like Tony Robbins. It's like, no, the teachings, Tony Robbins, that's what the experience you're having. Can you transmit it to them? It's about them experiencing it. I'm not saying Tony Robbins is not doing that, but it's like, the emphasis should be more on like, can you experience what I'm experiencing? Can I transmit it effectively? Like Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza does a better job for me, but it's like transmitting the experience, because the reward is the experience. Once people experience these states of consciousness, now they're like, oh, Joe Dispenza, thank you for driving the bus, but like, I'm here now. That's the beauty. It's like, it's not about Joe Dispenza anymore. It's about they're at the destination. Oh, brilliant. It's like the idea of like, it doesn't matter how you get to who you are, as long as you get to who you are. It doesn't matter if you go to the Buddhist way or the yoga way, as long as you get to who you are. That's the main, like, that's one core emphasis in this work. It's like, I don't whatever path works for you, but as long as you get into alignment, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and this is a nice point, I think, to summarize a little bit of this old world, new world metaphor that we've been working through. Because if I can articulate what I've heard from you in the old world, is the old world we identify as an individual who's going through a life, and depending on what happens to that individual around security, control, status, these psychological needs, we say we've either had a successful life or an unsuccessful life. If we have a job, if we had certain relationships with certain people, if we were secure enough, if you made enough money, and anything that really happens to that identity, that dictates the quality of our life. And then because we're stuck at that level, we create institutions and we create systems that honor that level only. And it's just people playing this game of pushing themselves forward or pulling other people back, or that is the main dominant consciousness. And in that consciousness, what we're experiencing now is a lot of mental health challenges. We've got a lot of people who are not able to feel their emotions. We've got a lot of people who are stuck in jobs that they don't want to be in because they have to provide or live in certain houses or live in certain areas that they want to live in. And they don't really have a different way of seeing it. And they're suppressing the emotions that would tell them that this is not what's actually for them, whether alcohol or whether it's TV or social media or whatever it is. And they can get themselves into relationships that are repetitive and they're just repeating trauma. Then when you start thinking about the new world, the first step for you is, can I release my identification there and realize that I'm much more than that? So if I realized I was much more than that, and that the money, the house, all of those things that I now hold so dear are actually not that important, and I'm much greater than that, it gives me the freedom to start to really understand what are the things that I'm carrying in this lifetime that are heavy? What are the things I'm carrying this lifetime that are actually holding me back? Do I actually feel that for my whole life, I'm not good enough because my parents unconsciously transmitted that to me, and I've just been acting that out again and again in work life, and I've not been listening to myself to realize I'm not actually happy and I'm not enjoying it, and I've suppressed those feelings with whatever form of suppression that I actually prefer. And so it gives you the space to start opening up to those and start feeling them and start to heal them. And in that space, then, what you're describing is you start to notice that there are certain gifts that you have to bring to the world that are linked to those wounds. So if you were never felt worthy or never felt good enough, you'll want to experience what it's like to feel good enough just as you are, just to feel enough just as you are. And from that space, then you'll naturally start to share to people this sense of acceptance and love of them for them being exactly as they are. Right. And in that sense, even if you never make a career out of it, you're bringing a gift to the people around you through how you're being. And so then in that reality, you start to notice that there are certain things that light you up more in the world, certain bits of music you resonate more with, certain work that you could do with people, certain relationships that you could have with certain people. And you start to move your life and be followed by that intuitive sense of knowing to what lights you up and what creates you more expansive. And you put that higher than any material outcome or any reputational outcome or any sort of social acceptance. And in doing so, you start to create the reality that your soul actually wants to live in on this planet. And from that position, then, I don't think we have that at the moment. But from that position, the institutions that we would create, the systems that we would create, would recognize at its core that we are much greater than just this one individual personality, and that we're all connected as part of a human family, but we're all at the higher level souls going through this experience. And then at the highest level, we are this consciousness in which all of this is happening. We are literally this one. And so the institutions we'd create based on the back of that would be quite different. And so have I articulated well that some of the shifts of that new world to old world, and what else would you add into that mix?
Yeah, you've articulated it well. I do want to emphasize though that the systems would look like radically different. It wouldn't be that similar at all. So for example, it's just like quantum level difference, really. How do I describe it? Like people imagine 5 years ago, if I was to tell you, this is what life could look like, you could try to stretch yourself a little bit, but you couldn't, like, it's hard to get up into another level to see it completely different. Because you kind of limit yourself to what you know. Kind of limiting your what's possible. So one thing is that I just want to emphasize how powerful we are. Like, I think people just don't get it sometimes, which is natural because we haven't experienced. A lot of people haven't experienced the power. But I will say this: like, I'll just give an example of physical health. I think it's a good example. Physical health healing. So if there's people who've heard my story or you've experienced physical health healing, or someone who's experienced a physical health healing, and you hear many more of them now, it shows you that what's possible in consciousness, in the human experience. That if we can heal structural problems in the body, which in medical models, like, well, structural problems are solved by surgery, and if there's no surgery, then structural problems cannot be solved. That's not true. Structure also reflects what your nervous system is doing. The organs, positions, the ligaments, the muscles, the organ function, it's all being controlled by nervous system. The nervous system is being controlled by your soul. So anyway, this is incredible information to some people. It's, wow, there's so much possible in the physical health realm. Now, if there's incredible, anything's possible to heal anything in the physical health world, then imagine what's possible to change in the rest of the world. So the way you see relationships, let's say, relationships. Oh yeah, I have a romantic partner and I have a few friends. I'm like, no, you can actually have a partner that's literally seeing you. She actually understands your essence. She loves you for who you are, not for what you do, not for what you say, but this partner can actually love you for who you are. You can love yourself for who you are, not even what you do or what you say. You can actually love yourself without conditions. Imagine that. That's a quantum level difference to where the old world is. You can actually accept yourself now, in this moment, and let go of conditionality. You can actually accept yourself now with no excuses. You can just choose that. You have the power to actually choose that and to say, I'm willing to accept myself now, whatever the consequences. If the body has to leave, so be it. You can do that if you want, if you choose. You can also say, I choose to be in peace now. I could be right. I could be trying to say this and say that to be right and try to prove myself right to this person, to that situation, and try to prove my point and say this thing. Or I can choose peace now. You want to be right or you want to be at peace? You choose. So people who are talking about wars and talking about conflict in the world. What about in this moment, wherever you are, tune in to the frequency of peace and choose it now. That's possible no matter where you are. If you go to India, people are on the street with cardboard boxes lying on the ground, with newspapers wrapped around their hips, with not a penny in their lives ever brought to them. Nothing but a bit of rice put into the body. That's all they ate for the last 50 years. And you look at these people and you're like, well, I'll tell you what's possible. I'm like, are you sure? You know what's possible? Because do you see some of these people? They're in high states of conscious. They're blissed out. They're happy. They're smiling. They're at peace with life. They're in love. They're fulfilled. And they have a cardboard box. That's it. So why is it that those people can experience those states of consciousness? And you're there going, well, I need this and this and this. Why are you so conditional? Because ultimately you believe that it's so conditional. You believe that it's conditional and that's why you're experiencing that. But these people who are in cardboard boxes, maybe they realize that it's not really about my conditions. I can just choose it now. And so why I'm saying that is because I'm speaking to the people who are like, well, see, I have a story in my head. And it says that, my career is this way and this is the money this is the money and this is what the money's doing and this is what the situation of money is. I'm like, you're giving all your power away. You're giving all your power of who you are. You're just giving it away to a story. And are you sure that story is true? What do you mean it's true? Because I thought about it. I'm like, I've heard that 1,000 times. Are you sure it's true? First of all, ask the question, who is the one that tells the story? Who's that? Who is the one that creates the story? Recognize that. And if you're the one that creates the story, who is the one that can let it go? And why I say that is because don't you tap into that power? Tap into that power to put your attention on something else. Because when you can put your attention on something else, you start to bring it into your reality. But if you're putting your attention on some small idea, then you're always going to get it. What you put your attention on grows. What you're putting your attention on ultimately physicalizes. So in a way, a lot of Western humans seem to say, oh, I am limited by my financial situation and my career. I'm like, is this your religion? It's like, you're just dogmatically stuck on this story. It's like, are you sure? Are you so sure? Have you questioned every angle? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, see, you have to believe in something. You have to recognize your power, to remember. That's like, go to the source of light. Go to the light and you'll start to sense your power again. You start to sense a little glimpse of your power. And when you're there, you can start to claim. You can start to remember. And you start to remove all ideas of what you think power is and reclaim what real power is. You can start to reclaim the frequency of power itself. You can start to return to the frequency of power. You start to feel strength. You start to feel power again in your nervous system. You start to access it again. And then you start to realize, I do no longer give my power away to conditions. No longer give my power away to some story. I'm not going to shrink myself to some idea. Because I'm not that idea. I'm far greater. I'm not I lost my arm. Okay, I lost my arm. I'm far more. You're acknowledging you lost your arm, but you're far more. You're not all of a sudden powerless now. You're still the same power as you were when you had 2 arms. That's the reality. Your physical health condition does not define who you are. Your financial situation doesn't define your worth. It doesn't define who you are. You're far greater. Are you married or not? It's not defining your worth. Why shrink yourself so small? Oh, I've got this car. I'm like, great, cool. Are you happy? Who cares? Like, are you happy? Are you at peace? Maybe that's more essential questions. Like, things, cool, great, whatever. But are you at peace? Are you happy? Are you centered? Are you feeling satisfied? Are you feeling just at peace? Like, is that not more essential? Is that not more valuable? How about focus on those things? And why I'm saying that is because peace, love, acceptance, they're accessible now. They're accessible because you realize to get there, you have to stop giving your power away to conditions. You have to stop shrinking your self-worth to what you do and what you say. Start shrinking your love to conditionality, like, I have to do this, I have to say this to be loved. That's what you've been brainwashed to believe. You've been conditioned that from your mom and your dad. You know, son, if you do this and you're a hard worker and you earn money, you're a good boy. And if you don't do this, you're not a good boy. You're not as valuable as somebody else because they have more of that. So this is what life is. And you're like, oh, okay, daddy, I believe you. And then you just set up for the misery after that. And then it's like, and then it's the same with the mother. It's like, if you please me and you look good to society and the people around you, then I'm going to look good. It's going to reflect good on me. And so you have to make sure that you behave well and you have a good status, because then I'll feel good about that. So I'm your mother and I love you conditionally. You're a great mom. So like, You're going to love me only when I do certain things that follow your orders. Great. Fantastic. And so then you realize, wow, these two beings are literally so conditional with me. And I'm growing up incredibly conditional. My value is conditional, so conditional. And then you realize this is a greater thing that's reflected in society. This consciousness is then reflected externally in our social structures, where it's like social media. Yeah. What do you do? What do you do? You're valued. Look at what you have. It's like, what kind of nonsense is this? Like, what are we doing? We're wasting our attention. I don't want to waste another second looking at this. It's like, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to try to prove my self-worth to everyone online. I'm like, I'm just sensing like, what are you doing? Like, how about say, I accept myself now, and everything changes. The whole social media would change tomorrow. The whole industry, half the industry of the coaching industry would fall apart tomorrow if somebody just said, I want to accept myself now. I'm enough now. It would fall apart because people are selling their coaching programs on what? If you get this, then you'll be good enough. If you access this program, now you'll be Shakti empowered. Now you'll be a feminine goddess. Now you'll be a Shiva embodied. You'll be a worthy man. You'll be a worthy partner. I mean, this is the problem. You're continuing to sell based on insecurity, and continuing to sell based on you're not enough. Buy my thing. I say, you are enough, and if you realize that, maybe you from abundance, you might say, I might try your dance class. I might try your soul alignment thing. Cool, but you don't need it. Only if you resonate, come here. You feel joy. You feel I want to try it. Cool. But you don't need to. It's a different way to be the signpost. So you don't need people. It's like I'm not here I don't need anyone, actually. But it's a beautiful thing for people to come. And I give gratitude to the great divine for people to come to my fields. I'm like, beautiful. Thank you so much for coming into my field. What an honor. Thank you so much. And imagine people could come into your world that way. So it's like it's like a long rant, but it's like I'm just painting the picture of what the internal experience of life can be. It's like what the relationships in life can be like. What can your career look like? What can it feel like on the inside? How can you share, instead of not market, but how can you share your message? How can you just attract things instead of like needing and pulling them in and forcing them into reality? How can you just, for example, money? Oh, do I need to do something for money? Yeah, I need to do something. How about you receive money for who you are? How about you just breathe and you get money? Why not attract that? Why not just walk down the street and somebody just gives you money? Do you need to do something? Do you need to be so conditional about how you receive things in life? Well, I'd say, universe, I'm open to receive money tomorrow. Great. You might come. Might come anyway. Why somebody just give you $1,000 tomorrow? Just because you smiled. Why not? Why not just believe these things? Why you have to like limit yourself? And I have to do 100 things now I get money. I'm like, you're just limiting yourself because you choose. Because you're conditioned to it. So it's like our beliefs around everything is just so like boring. I'm not trying to. It's like boring as in we can do way better. There's way more possible. This is just like imagine that there's more possible than what you think is possible. So, and there's a long way of speaking to that excuse. I'm going to controversially call it of, oh no, my money and career situation is like this, and that's why I can't access peace. No, it's not true. There's that person in India has no arms and they're in peace. So what's your story? Oh, well, because, I did this. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. You choose that. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that you can be at peace if you choose. That's the reality. You can be in alignment if you choose. You can say, no. When I get out of my marriage, okay, fair enough. You choose that. But also realize you can be in alignment now if you so choose. And so people are ready at different levels. People are ready, really ready, to just say, yes, I want it. Bring me there. I'm like, great. Some people are like, oh, it's cool. It sounds good. I'm like, but I don't want, but they're not doing it. I'm like, because you're not ready. Simple as that. It's like anything. It's like everything. It's like Simple, like.
Yeah, it's beautifully articulated, and I love the passion in the rant. I think it's a passion born of understanding how powerful we are and how limited we keep ourselves. And when people say things like, we keep ourselves there, we choose this, we choose, I like to open that up a little bit and just say, your nervous system is conditioned to view the world that way. Like, when we say you're choosing that, it's like, people think I'm logically choosing that. I've gone through all of the options and I've logically, consciously made a choice. It's like, no, your nervous system has been, you can't imagine how heavily it's been conditioned. Like, think about your parents and everything that they've ever said to you. Think about everything they've ever transmitted to you on a nervous system level. It's not like just you're a good boy and you're a good girl for doing this or doing that. It's like, I'm a little bit warmer to you when you behave that way unconsciously. I'm a little bit colder when you do that. And there's all of that stuff coming through. Then you've got ancestrally what has happened has come through. And so as you were speaking there, Myles, and some of the things that you were saying about, particularly around money, for me, like money, like it's reverberating off my nervous system. My nervous system go, no, can't be that easy. Like, I'm feeling this heaviness, pull me. And it's like, it's important for people to understand just how much our nervous system, which has been around for 500 million years, is sensing everything that comes near us before this brain, which the nervous system grew actually, ever gets a chance to have a perspective on it. And so it's really critical that if you're sitting there and you're thinking, right, wow, this sounds crazy to me, this sounds madness, I can't do this, I couldn't do that. It's like, just start connecting into where is that in your body? Where is it coming from? And get curious about, what's this story that's coming up? Where did it come from? And you will get the linkages. You'll uncover the patterns that are holding you back. And in this new world, something that you've said to me before is, every day people are healing trauma. Every day people are letting go of different things. Every day people are experiencing alignment. Every day people are following what actually lights them up and trusting that if they follow those things and stay in alignment, that's actually what they're meant to be doing. Because I think that's the biggest thing that holds us back from this path is fear. And fear is a lack of trust in the universe and the way that it's unfolding. Is there something you'd like to say around the trust that comes with reorientating your life and the fear that people feel whenever they're on a process like this?
I would say that whenever you go and want to do something like a fitness 2-month program and you go to a gym and you want to get in shape physically, yeah, it's great. Like, I want to get in shape. It's nice to know what you want. And now once you know what you want, you're like, okay. Then you go, okay, how do I do it? I go, well, okay, these are certain foods I have to eat and these are certain exercise routines I have to do. Oh, okay. So imagine 50 years ago. The knowledge wasn't so accessible. So like, you could like whack out a program for 2 months and get no results. because it's like information's not as, maybe the quality's not as good and you're kind of just trying and you don't really know. But then fast forward to today, ChatGPT is here. Like, ChatGPT, show me the methods and show me the different ones side by side and see which one's the most efficient for my path. And boom, 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 boom. You can just like get an incredibly efficient one. And you can go to a personal trainer and be like, is that good? Show me, like, is that the most effective option for me? And then he's like, well, I've experienced 1,000 people and blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's do this. And it's like, okay, within 6 weeks to have these results. Wow, brilliant. But what I'm trying to say is that the knowledge is there. And then when you do it, you still, even though you have a good method, you have to actually do it. And that's when all the things come up. I'm like, oh, it's hard. This is not easy. Oh my God. So there is a value exchange that's required to There is a sacrifice required to actually get to your result, to your destination. It's kind of part and parcel of going on a physical health journey. Then to actually stick and stay there, it requires discipline. It's kind of what's required as a value exchange to stay in physical shape, as you know very well, imagine, Kane. So it's like, okay, now imagine that for the spiritual journey, but on 10 times. Now, okay, all right. Where do you want to get to? Do you want to get to states of peace throughout the day consistently? Do you want to get to states of acceptance? Do you want to accept all things as they are? Do you want to just regularly enter that state? Do you want to regularly enter the state of I love myself for who I am? I love who I am. Not what I do or what I say. I love who I am. My nervous system embodies this. I believe it in my existence. I don't just think about it. My body believes this. I live like this. Do you want that result? Okay, you want it. Okay, very good. Now here's the method. Soul alignment method. Okay, this is like the method, just like the personal training. This is the method, broken down in detail. Here's the method to get the result. Now, what's going to come up? Now you know the method. Now you're like, okay, I want to go do it. What's going to come up? Just for me, normal. What normally comes up? You realize there's a bit of a value exchange here. I'm like, oh, I have to die to some things, to let go of certain things, habits, and certain ideas. It's like, oh, it's a bit hard. That's part and parcel. But I will say this: if you're ready, ultimately, if you're ready, you will do it. That's what I often say. Like, if you're actually ready, you will actually get enough strength to overcome the challenges. You'll get more strength than the challenge, basically, if you're ready. If you're not ready, you'll not get enough strength to overcome the challenge. So I would say technically that's kind of usually how it goes. If you're ready, you have more strength in your challenge and you will achieve it. People are not ready, won't gather enough strength. That's why they can't achieve the results, because they don't have enough motivation yet. They haven't broken enough things. They haven't broken enough things in their reality yet. Things haven't pushed them enough. They haven't hit the ground enough times. They haven't been humiliated enough times to realize the value of alignment. That's actually the crazy thing. It's like, being humiliated is quite a blessing when you realize that it's actually leading you to realizing what's important. Like, what is loss teaching you? Loss is teaching you the value of something. That's the function of it. So I have to lose enough to realize the value of it. And so when it comes to, you're asking the question about trust and fear, isn't it? First, trust and fear. Like, I mean, what are we really fearing? We're fearing the death of our old self, no? We're fearing the death of our old identity, our old beliefs. So it's kind of like, it's natural to fear the death of that. But then what often comforts it is that who you really are, when you let go of everything, who you really are never goes away. Only what's illusion, only what's really not you will disappear. So any belief that's true to your soul will not disappear when you let go. Only what is illusion will fall. So why be afraid to let go? Because your real self never goes away. Let go of all relationships. Oh, I can't do that. Why not? If you're so confident, why not let it go? Because if you can let it all go, what's truly aligned will remain. And that's the same with all areas of life. Let go of all your beliefs. It's a radical view. Radical and simple. Let go of all ideas. See what remains. Now you're going to start sensing into what's aligned for your path. And that's what I'll say. I challenge the listener now to say, hey, can I let go of all ideas? Because when you keep letting go and you keep challenging yourself to let go, you'll start to see the soul come louder. You'll start to hear the soul more louder. You'll start to realize that the dream was just waiting to reveal itself. You just had to put yourself in the space where it could be loud enough. He'll get rid of the illusion, the maya, you turn your attention on letting go of everything, and all of a sudden, woo, dream comes down.
What a beautiful articulation of it, and definitely true from my experience of it. It's incredible to see the pure amount of conditions that I have been putting on myself in order to be enough. The pure amount of beliefs, need to do this, need to do that, have to be this way, have to be that way, that as you start to just let them go, you realize that like life is pretty simple, actually. It's just going, it's happening, it's unfolding. And when you start to participate with that more as your true self, everything just improves. Everything improves. And it's an inner game, having worked on this inner game for the last 10, 12 years. And it doesn't have to take people that long by any stretch of imagination. I'm just a very slow learner. But it is about this inner world. And there are external things that will shift, and there are relationships that may need to move on and they may need to die, and that can be painful. But ultimately, it's the sort of pain that is healing and it's good in the long run. And so, I would just really encourage anyone who's curious about this or who feels like this is part of their journey to reach out to you and continue that conversation. Where can people reach out to you and learn a bit more? And we've got a previous podcast episode, but where can they talk to you and hear your work?
So my Instagram is Myles of Magic, MYLES of Magic, and then there's a link on that to everything I do, and there's a website called www.thesoulalignmentmethod.com, and that's the website. There are the two main ways that you will see the journey I've been on and the service I provide. And then, I just keep it simple. They're the two main ways.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's late for you at this stage as well, that it matters to you, but thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure again. And something else you want to share?
Yeah, I want to just share that, there's something that's interesting is that I know, obviously, we can speak on power another time, but it's what's actually possible and what we actually can do as humans is beyond what most people have ever heard. But it's for example, energy. I just want to speak on this one thing, which is that I'm absolutely focusing on what brings me passion in this moment, what lights me up the most, and all this energy just streams down through this nervous system and just brings these hormones into full testosterone. It's my chemistry system is on blast right now because I'm in alignment with what I'm here to do. I'm in alignment with purpose, so my body just reflects that. My body is like a machine, like some kind of, it's like a, I don't know, some kind of quantum computer right now, because it's I'm in alignment. And energy follows that. I really feel that energy, the quality of energy we have access to and how efficient our system is, has a lot to do with how in alignment we are. I actually feel like the future of talking about healing and health and accessing energy and maximizing our nervous system comes down to how in alignment you are. How in alignment you are with your purpose, because that's going to determine the quality of your physical health and your nervous system and everything else as a result. And I would say that when you're in alignment, you can go into you can experience things, you can have energy in levels you'd never believe, because you've been giving your power away to, oh, I need constant food to bring energy into my body. Oh, I need constant water, I need constant sleep. I'm like, yeah, that's part of the energy. That's part of bringing energy into the body. Yeah, you can do that if you want. But there's lots of ways to bring energy in. You can if you're so efficient in your system, maybe you don't need as much inside your body. Maybe actually you can increase your muscle strength just by actually being on purpose. You actually can increase your testosterone just by being on purpose. All of a sudden your muscle mass increases just by being on purpose. Imagine that. you just did the same workout you've been doing for the last 6 months, but all of a sudden your gains are 2 times stronger because you're on purpose. It's like, what the hell is that? Because your hormones are completely changing. It's like, all the supplements are beautiful, but remember, there's no better supplement than alignment. And anyway, I just want to finish on that because it's like, maybe it sparks something that people want to listen.
Yeah, it's this has been a fascinating area for me. Is the energy is in the state rather than I need to get this energy mechanically through putting something external inside myself. Like, yes, that's part of the energy exchange, but even when you do the maths on all of the energy in versus energy out, it doesn't add up. And it's not me doing the maths, this is a physicist doing the maths on the bacon and eggs you had this morning or the food that you had this morning. Is there's not enough to actually run the system that we are in. And there are lots of cases of people who have not eaten for years, weeks, lifetimes even. There are people who have existed on 2 glasses of goat's milk. There are people who have done this incredible long life and fasting and very, very limited food, very, very limited sleep, very, very limited water. And I think it would be narrow-minded of us to just dismiss that just because it doesn't fit into our current model. And I think there's something really interesting to explore in that space as well.
Yeah, what's possible on every level. It's not to say you can eat 5 times a day if you want, whatever. But it's like, it's not about food. It's just about what's possible. And that's just an example. It's an example of what's possible on all levels of this human experience. Like, I mean, people talk about divine union, which is powerful, but then there's divine communion, which is on another level. There's many things that we don't even realize. Like, people I don't know if you know what that even means, you know? And I'm like, well, this idea isn't even out there yet. You know, there's ideas that are on higher levels of consciousness that seriously, I haven't a clue. So imagine there's ideas beyond what everyone can understand, and it looks like magic is relativity. You know, it's like, well, I couldn't even imagine that. That looks like that's magical to me because it's relative to where you're at. There's things that are magical to every level of consciousness. I'm aware of beings that are. I'm like, wow, you're so magical because you're way beyond what I'm experiencing. You're on a level of consciousness that I'm in this human experience. I'm like, well, I can't even access. Oh wow, like Christ, you know, like, wow, it's beautiful to tune into you because wow, you're on a whole other level. Oh wow, like wow, it's so amazing to connect with you, Buddha. Like, you're on a whole other level. It's like all these other beings that I'm connecting with. It's like, wow, amazing. It's like everything's relative. It's just there's no why limit myself to this current physical 3D thing and say that, oh, the society says this, so I should just believe this is reality itself. I'm like, the more and more you go in this path, you're like, what kind of nonsense are we buying into? What kind of nonsense are we building? What the form of this world, the external form of like the economic system and the education system and then the government system, like what are we doing? Like this is very limiting, the way we're doing it.
Yeah, it's incredible to look at all of the different illusions that we will hold throughout our whole lives, and they're the most simple things. One is the happiness that I seek is coming just around the corner after I get this new job, after I get this house, after I get this. Oh no, whenever the kids are 2, no, whenever the kids are 5, I can't wait for that. No, I can't wait till the kids are 10. I can't wait till the kids are grown up. And like all of these, we just labor under these illusions. That's one you can just get rid of straight away. It's like bang. The next one is in relationship with other people, that I'm continuously just playing out old patterns from inside me that are not even mine and fighting with other people in relationship. It's like, just stop fighting with other people in relationship and start looking at what is that triggering in me and how do I let those things go, and suddenly the entire relationship transforms. But you could spend your entire life hating someone or in relationship with someone and have a divorce and have all these sorts of things because you don't understand that you're just bouncing off trauma off each other. I think these sorts of things, like it's more you start to see the truth of those things and progress through those things, the more you realize that the vast majority of human energy on this planet right now is consumed by never-ending patterns of conditioning and trauma that don't ever give you the outcomes that they promise to give you at the end, and we're just going about it in the wrong way, and on cycles and cycles, and it's like we just keep forgetting. We keep forgetting, like every time we get a new job that we don't like, that it's going to fade and it's going to go away, or every time we buy the new thing that we don't even need, that's going to fade and go away as well. We keep forgetting all of those things rather than just waking up and being like, why, this didn't work the last 5 times and why is it going to work now? Because people don't have an alternative. And I think that's what's beautiful about what you're bringing, is there's an alternative to this that is purely down to you and your own power and your own awakening. And that, I think, is the most beautiful message that we could send out to anyone who's listening to this, is that if you are curious and you want it enough, it's here for you.
Yes, and imagine, like, I feel like every era we evolve as a collective, and I feel like one thing that's ready to pop in this era is the belief systems we have around value exchange. Specifically target that, and that's something that I'm really enjoying slicing apart the illusion of it, because I find it absurd. Like, for example, money. Like, people talk about money and they're like, all of a sudden this fear and all this like limitation just comes into their being. And they're like, they're all of a sudden their power like goes to the ground. They're like, oh, I'm a little small mouse. I'm like, you're not a mouse. Your consciousness itself. But it's like money somehow got you to think so limited. What's this? What's going on here? I was like, well, I'm scared now. I'm like, what happened? Like, did some beliefs all of a sudden trigger these low states in you about money? What does money mean to your nervous system? It's a very interesting thing. It's like, what does money mean to people's nervous systems? What do they associate money with? Are they like? And then I start to realize, wow, it's like that's something that I have suffered from in my life. Of course, I was like, well, how much time have I spent giving my value, my attention to like valuing myself based on money, valuing my self-worth based on money. Oh, money's coming in this way, so I'm a good boy and I'm doing good in life. Oh, money's not coming in the way I want it to be, so I must be bad. I must be doing something wrong. God, am I a bad boy? Maybe I'm bad. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm no good. My worth's nothing. All of a sudden, I'm like throwing myself under the bus because the numbers on some electronic screen are not the numbers that society says are good. And all of a sudden, I'm some worthless, crisp bag on the ground. It's like, what are we doing? I'm like, what am I? I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about like, what have I been doing? Giving my power. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize, inner child. I apologize, body, for making you feel so worthless when it comes to the topic of money. I stopped giving my power. I'm going to stop giving my power away to this idea that had been planted into me from some education system, from some parents. They're telling me, Myles, your worth's going to be on how much money you have in your life. And I'm like, oh, yes, I just believe you. I'm like, I realize what kind of nonsense I've been believing. And it's like, oh, what is worth? What is worthiness? Where does worth come from? Where is the source of worth, actually? Who defines worth? Who gives the sense that you're good enough? And who gives that sense that you're worthy? Who is that? Who gives that? Where does it come from, that sense? Where is the source of that? Explore within yourself. Where is the source of that? And then as you sense and experience the source, which is in the work we do and in the meditations and in all the things we do in the method, but it's like all of a sudden you experience the source of worth You experience where worth comes from. And then you start to experience the incredible worthiness that you are. Oh, I'm worthy for being here. I'm valuable because I'm actually here. I exist. I'm actually value itself. I realized that, wow, I'm the source of this. I'm the one who gives and takes. I'm the ones who says I'm worthy and not worthy. I'm that person. I'm that one that does that. I'm the one that says, Myles, you're a good boy. Myles, you're not a good boy. Oh, wow, wait a second. I'm that. And so then, Myles, you're good because you have this money. Myles, you're bad because you have that money. All of a sudden, those thoughts start to fall away. Those obsessions with defining myself, my happiness based on those things start to fall away. And I start to reclaim my true worth. I realize my true value. I realize that I'm worthy for who I am because I'm here. Because I exist, I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of support. I'm worthy because I exist. I'm valuable because I exist. I'm powerful now. Wow. But then all of a sudden, this idea of value, you start to realize value. And now the whole understanding of what is value exchange? Oh, wait, what's value exchange? And then, so this whole program of money starts to break itself. Because a lot of it comes back to the root of, am I supported by life? Do I feel supported by life? It's a big question. If I feel supported by life and I really feel the support of life, then I all of a sudden don't become so insecure about people and money. All of a sudden I feel the support of life. But if I don't trust the support of life, then I'm like, money, come to me, please, please. Because I associate money with support. So there's all this in the background. There's all this in the background beliefs. And it takes time to untangle the beliefs. It takes time to cut away the beliefs around value, worthiness, power, and eventually just know that you can stop giving your power away and your value away and your self-worth away and your happiness away to an idea, a story about money. And that's an incredible different way to live. It's unbelievable, the difference in level of that you live from. And that I feel passionate about decoding and deconstructing the belief systems that as a society we keep enforcing about value equaling money and productivity and utility. This is what's being called to really be deconstructed in the current collective right now. Is our belief around what it means to be valuable, what it means to be worthy. This is really central to what needs to go right now, because once we start to shift that, the whole way we exchange value in the world, the way we exchange economics is going to be radically different. And I'm not going to go into what that looks like, but I'm just saying that it'll feel completely different. And all these beings going around saying, "Hey, you need to be this in your money to be good enough." I'm like, here, put that nonsense somewhere else. Like, I know who I am.
I love it. My quote of the day is definitely going to be, "You're not a mouse. You are consciousness itself." And as someone who's just gone through that process of taking back their self-worth internally and realizing that it's unconditional, the world is actually a different place. The world is a completely different place. And so I want to thank you for that and for the work that we've done together on that. It's been incredibly liberating for me. Is there anything you'd like to say here at the end that you felt that you haven't got to express, so we can wrap this?
I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, Cian. Thank you for just being here and this moment. And I'm aware that this moment will never happen again, in a way. Like, this is a stage of our evolution that will never be repeated. And I'm just grateful for where we're at. Like, it's beautiful. And I'm grateful to be able to access gratitude in this moment, because it's not always accessible. Even when I try, ultimately it is, but I'm not always able to access it. But when I access gratitude, I'm like, wow, what a privilege! What is privilege? Privilege is just being able to access these things, being able to access states of consciousness. These states, wow, what a privilege! I imagine so much the world wants to experience this, and I pray that each person experiences what it feels like to be grateful, what it feels like to be peaceful, content, happy, accepted. I pray that humans get access and they experience this. I really pray for that. It's the greatest gift I can give you. It's not things. Things are definitely far less beautiful than actual states of consciousness. Experiencing who you are ultimately is the greatest experience you'll ever have in this human incarnation. Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's keep going. Thank you, sir.